Hi everyone, welcome back to Unboxed. Today we have Noah, one of our co-founders, and we are unboxing DSS history, lore, and many more. I kind of want to go into some of the history of DSS and all of that.
Sure.
When this started, why Kickstarter? And how did the Kickstarter go?
Yeah. I'd say we did our Kickstarter, I think it was 2015 or 2016.
Okay.
That was kind of just the way that games were launched back then. I think Cards Against Humanity was actually originally a Kickstarter way back in the day. So we didn't have much of a model to follow. Yeah. So that was kind of the way that things were done. So we were just kind of doing it the way that the people before us had done it.
Yeah.
And then how did it go? I mean, so the way Kickstarter works for people that don't know is you have to hit your full goal. So if you don't hit the goal you set, if you want to raise $10,000, if you don't hit $10,000, if you hit 9,000, you don't get anything.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like an all or nothing proposition. So it's intense and it's a little bit scary for sure. Yeah. So yeah, we had to raise money. We had a $10,000 goal in 30 days, okay. And we had to raise money right up to the last day.
Really?
To push it over the top.
Are you posting on your Instagram, sending this to your friends? Were randos buying it? How are people finding it?
That's a really good question. I remember sending out tons of cold emails to basically anyone that I've ever known to basically just buy a pre-order version of the game. I was in college at the time, so it's not like my friends were flush with extra money.
We send this to your parents.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely had a couple of friends who I'll always remember. My friend Max, who was one of my big bros in my fraternity. I stepped up for $200, which was a huge thing at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just kind of got it over the line. Honestly, we definitely had some random people buying it. I think back then people would kind of
search for things.
Exactly. Kickstarter was I think it still kind of is a place where people will go to find kind of the indie board game and card game stuff. Okay. So that was definitely a thing started by Cards Against Humanity, I think, and then popularized with Exploding Kittens. Okay. They did a $6 million Kickstarter or something, probably 6 months after us.
Yeah. So
that was really popularized by them, but yeah, definitely had some randos, but we only had maybe 300 or something backers in total. Okay. So it was definitely not we're not setting the world on fire, but it was enough to help fund the first printing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. In college, when you didn't know that DSS was going to turn into your life, what was the life goal? What were your plans? What were you going to do?
I never had a super set idea. I would say the goal from when I was a kid was to write for Saturday Night Live. Okay. That was the first goal. And then that kind of went into going to film school and stuff. Yeah. But it was actually right as DSS was taking off was also the same time my junior year of college, I had my first internship in the film industry. Okay. And I would say as well as DSS was going, that was going very, very badly. Okay. It basically just gave me an insight to this is what working in the film industry would actually be like. Yeah. And it was just not what I hoped for. In order to make it in certain industries, I would say that one being one of them, you have to just be obsessed to make it. Basically. And I wasn't obsessed with that. Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
With starting DSS, what was kind of in your mind I made it moment of the business?
I made it. Of just knowing the business would work, or
just what was the first thing where you're oh, that's sick.
Myself.
This is really cool that we got to this point.
Yeah. I would say the two early ones. I mean, there's a couple. Obviously the big ones of getting a game into Target or something that is an insane moment that you just don't even really think it's possible. Probably just seeing original game Drunk Thunder Stupid for sale in a store. There was a local chain in LA called Kitson, which was a small kind of gift-y kind of store. They probably had 12 locations. But they had their flagship store was on the 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica. Yeah. And I remember going up there for our weed family in LA. We went up there for Christmas, walking the 3rd Street Promenade. We always go shopping there every year. And then we went down to the end of the promenade to see Kitson, big display of Drunk Thunder Stupid in the window was like, I mean, that's just like crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Like seeing your work out in the world.
Yeah. Like that's just not something you ever imagine. Like just have an idea and then see it for sale on like the busiest street, you know, during Christmas time and people are like looking at it and buying it. It's wild.
Nice.
Yeah.
So at Toy Fair this year, you told a story. You can share the story or not, but in the original game of Drunk, Stoned, or Stupid, and now Who's Most Likely To, and all of that, there are people names. Are there, okay, you don't have to share that specific one. You don't have to share that specific one, but like, were these randos? Are they made up? Are these like real people that were in your lives? Like, who are these like people that are
trying
like,
to get me in trouble?
Get this shout out.
So the original Drunk, Stoned, or Stupid / Who's Most Likely To, same game, different name. Game on the cards, there's little credits of like people's first name, like city, state. So, you know, when we were making it, we thought that would be like a fun like detail because the game's all about tagging your friends. We thought it'd be funny if there's like one original person that we're like giving it to. So I mean, most of the people tagged in the original game are like my friends, Trevor's friends and stuff. We just gave it to them because I thought they were funny. And then like, you know, millions of copies later, I'm being called out across the country. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. In starting the business, were you like nervous, excited to like go into business with your brother and your dad? Like, doing like the family business thing, like did you guys really consider that aspect, or did it just kind of like naturally happen and like it turned into what it is?
It was definitely not a premeditated decision. It was definitely like we got into it and they're like, well, we're here now, and then we just kind of had to like work through the challenges that come with being in a family business once we were already in it. But it was never like I never thought like I'm going to start a business with my family. You know, that was never it for sure. But
do you feel like since working so closely with Trevor, it's brought you guys closer? Were you guys always close growing up?
It's definitely brought us closer, just spending like so much time together and like having like, it basically forces you to like work on your relationship. Like you don't have a choice to be like, I'm not going to like talk to my sibling for 6 months. I don't know what the mood around the office would be if like the two CEOs don't talk to each other. That would be an issue. So trying to avoid that as possible. So I think we had to just accelerate our like you know
communication.
Exactly.
Boys chatting.
But now we're I mean Trevor's he's my best friend. He's my brother, business partner. So we're like very lucky that we like each other.
Goals.
That would be a pain if we didn't.
Okay. Kind of talking about the games. What game has been made that you were like, oh, this is gonna be sick, and like flop? So like, what flop was kind of like most disappointing to you?
Most disappointing,
or most surprising, or like?
I mean, it's weird because like, it's weird. You get to a point, early on in the business, every game you make, you think it's going to be the greatest thing ever, right? I mean, that's the whole reason. Exactly. I mean, that's the whole reason you make it. You spend like years like working on it. So you're never going to like spend your time and energy on something that you think is going to be average. Like that's just, I don't know. That's not something we would ever do. So, I mean, honestly, early on, any game that didn't succeed was like I was like, what's going on? Like this is the greatest thing ever. We all loved it. Why didn't it work? But then as the business goes along, you know, the toys and games industry it's an industry of like hits. So it's like your top 10% of games will carry the rest of your business. So you basically just accept that you come up with the ideas, you do the best you can, but ultimately you're going to have a couple huge hits, a lot of stuff in the middle, and a ton of stuff is going to not work. And you just kind of, you're like, all right, it didn't work.
That makes sense. That's like me when one of my plants dies. At this point, I'm like, let it go. Let it go. I can't save it. I'm like, if it has one bug, I'm like out the door. I can't.
Games, plants, or dating too. You just need one.
True.
You just
need to drop them fast.
You just need one good one. That's all it takes.
True. I need to take that lesson.
That's a little bit of free advice.
Yeah. That's what they're gonna take away from this.
Sponsored by. Yeah. It just takes one.
Okay. Talking about making games, how long does it take generally from like starting the process of like, here's the very first thought and idea of this game to it actually being at Amazon or like in a customer's hand? Like, how long is that process for people? Because or for the games, because I think some people don't realize like how long these are thought about. Like I think sometimes I'll hear an idea and then like 2 years later it's like, okay, let's market this. And I'm like, we're back.
Back like we never left. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it varies a ton, obviously. Like, you know, depending how complex the making of the project is. If it's just like, you know, a really simple box of cards or like an expansion or something, that's much easier if you don't have to do a brand new design and brand new gameplay and stuff. So I'd say like the ideation, for like the idea to finishing the files before they go to the printer could be anywhere from like 4 months to like over a year, like a year plus a year. Like, you know, we're working on one game right now that's going to come out later this year. That's been like well over a year in the making. And
the talk of the town.
Yeah, talk of the town. Yeah, exactly. So so that, and then, you know, production and ocean freight and stuff is another 2, 3, 4, like, you know, 2 months to produce it, 2 months to for ocean shipping. So yeah, you're talking like a year and a half plus, like year and a half to 2 years from idea to like on the shelf.
Yeah. By the time it comes out, are you like, I'm over this?
Oh,
yeah. Are you like...
100%. Well, yeah, it's funny because, we basically like, we'll have meetings with marketing with you guys, and I'll be like, just like, hey, I'm so over this game. Like, I'm so sick.
I actually don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. like I'm
just look at the brief. It's fine.
Like, you've just been staring at this thing for like a year, and I'm like, I just never want to look at this again.
Yeah.
And like you and Maddie and Natalie are like, okay, it's so exciting. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I'm so bored of this game.
This is so last year.
I'm like, I'm already convinced myself that no one's gonna buy this. So I'm like, maybe just don't even bother.
Like, I'm 10 games ahead of that already.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
So out of style, so out of fashion. You're like, I'm done.
And what's funny too is like, you know, like couples game or something that's a huge seller for us now. Yeah. I haven't thought about a couples game at all, but that's carrying our like a huge part of our business. But like, I never think about the couples game, obviously, because we came up with that idea in like 2020.
Yeah, unless it's like, oh, we're making late night or something like that, of like an expansion. Then you're like, okay, I'll think about you. But otherwise, like,
honestly, like for a couples game, I have the box on my desk and I look at it. I'm like, the design's not like, it could be better. So I'm still like, I feel like it's just a natural.
The sparkles aren't doing it for you? Or
I don't know. It's just change? Like when you look at, right. I don't know. I mean, you just look at anything for long enough, you're going to find things like wrong with it naturally, when in reality it's probably fine. But I don't know.
Maybe not like most successful, but like what game are you most proud of? Like, is it still like DSS the original, or has there been a game since where you're like, oh, like this is like, I want to like, I'd put my name behind this, like this is like my work, like I'm so like proud of or like love this game.
Well, so I'm from like, I did like improv and stuff and like high school and stuff, like comedy, comedy and like comedy writing was always my passion. So for me, the games that are like funny, I like the most. So like original Who's Most Likely to, Drunken or Stupid, I think is super funny. Or like I don't know, like Take a Sip If, I think is super funny. That's like a new one that just came out. Or like Duel, I think is also super funny. That one just came out. So any of those, like couples game is great. Like that's a great game with great gameplay and stuff. But the content is not like laugh out loud funny. It's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
So
different energy.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, I just want to sit around, chit chat with my friends, talk some smack. It's fine. So what piece of DSS Games lore do you find, or do you think like our followers or like our customers would find most interesting? Or like, what do you think are things that like we obviously know day to day, or like know from history, but like is probably not super known about like our games or the brand?
The games,
like I know a big thing starting here was like the original like, oh, DSS and Who's Most Likely to are the same exact game, but just like name change for retail, or like I feel like those sort of things, but like as a customer, like you wouldn't think of that, or
yeah, it's funny. I mean, I haven't thought about that in so long, but for sure. I mean, when we did that, when we had original Drunk, Stoned or Stupid it was actually Urban Outfitters was the first one to ask for Who's Most Likely To.
Okay.
It was our old buyer, Taylor Sell. When we made that decision, it was like, you know, we had been in business for such a short period of time. Yeah. And like the concept of like taking your only title and your best-selling title and then making a different version of it that's exactly the same with a different title was like why would we do that? It makes no sense. Yeah. But now looking back on it, it's like, oh, yeah, of course you would do that. Yeah. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Our first game is called Drunk, Stoner, Stupid. You can't sell that anywhere. Like, that makes sense.
Yeah, the Drunk, Stoner, Stupid into having the company DSS Games.
Yeah. So I think everything, like, back in the day feels like a huge thing. I mean, that's a good piece of lore. I feel like a lot of people don't know that DSS stands for Drunk, Stone, Stupid.
Yeah.
So that's a little Easter egg shout out.
Yeah, back to the origins.
Yeah, that's exactly. But I don't know, like, what do you guys think is interesting? Like, I feel like everything for me is not that interesting anymore because of, like, you know, it's been doing this for just so long. Yeah,
I think that was interesting. I think I always wondered about, like, the people in the corner of the cards, like, if those were, like, made up or real.
Totally. Yeah, those are real.
I think sometimes, like...
It'd be funny if they're made up.
Yeah.
I definitely had
like I bet Sarah's from Denver would totally get this card. Like,
what was funny is like you know, a lot of my friends, I went to Chapman in Orange County. So many of my friends were just from like Orange County and stuff. I'm like, this sounds boring. Like, everyone's from like Yorba Linda and Mission Viejo and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, one of my good friends, who's like my best friend now, my friend Ben, went to high school in Dubai. Okay. And I was like, all right, this sounds sick. Like, Ben, you need a card. I need a card from Dubai. Yeah. Like that sounds way better than Yorba Linda. No offense to Yorba Linda.
Hey, good things can come of the suburbs too.
Yeah, for sure. You know? For sure.
Okay. Another story that I heard at Toy Fair was about the iconic game Dick Match that we used to make. Yeah,
for sure.
Can you?
I don't think we have.
We don't have it in the room. We'll show a picture. It's iconic. At our girls' night event that we had, it was the talk of the town. Everybody was like, "We need it."
Yep.
Can you talk a little bit about those like cards and the drawing process that I went through for that?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that was like that was probably the third game we ever made. So we came up with Drunk, Stoner, Stupid when I was a sophomore in college. Okay. So it kind of came out when I was maybe a junior. And then so my junior, senior year, I worked on this game If You Had To, which was like our second game, which was also like did pretty well. And then so pretty much the first game out of college where I'm like, this is my full-time job was Dick Match. So I was in a like tiny little like 2-person WeWork office in Santa Monica. And we were like came up with the idea of like memory matching game with dicks. And I basically just went to Google and I typed in dick drawing Etsy. Yeah. Like, you know, where you can get, you know, a lot of people do like custom like illustrated stuff. Yeah. And I just clicked on the first post. This guy drew, I think they were like dick cards to send to your friends. Okay. So like if you want to say happy birthday with a dick, he would say like happy birthday, like Brandon, and then like draw you a dick, like hand drawn. Nice. Pretty good service actually. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember.
I wonder where he is now.
He might still be doing it.
Yeah. He's still on Etsy.
And he might still be on Etsy. So I emailed him and I was like, hey man, got a game idea. I need a lot of dicks. Yeah. Like, can you give me some? And he's like, for sure. So yeah, he was great. He's like an Australian artist guy. Okay. And yeah, we went through like rounds and rounds of illustrations. The main challenge with the illustrations is he was so talented and so good at drawing them. Yeah. Like disturbingly so. Like the scene in like Superbad. Have you guys seen Superbad before? Maybe. One of the opening scenes of Superbad is like Jonah Hill's character is in the back of the class drawing dicks. Okay. And they're like so detailed and like over the top. So yeah, he was just too good at drawing them. I'm like, dude, they were like
2 photorealistic.
Yeah, I'm like, I wanted it to be like definitely look somewhat real, but I'm like, this is like giving me nightmares. Yeah. So I'm like, dial it back. Yeah,
you're like, I need more cartoon than like photo.
Exactly. Like they were so good, you could have been convinced it was real. Yeah. So so he dialed it way back, and then honestly, probably the naming process was like the most fun. Like one of my first jobs was naming dick characters on tiles in like It's been like, this was like 10 years ago, so I'm trying to remember the name.
A Sergeant something.
Yeah, Sergeant Penis and like I don't know, I can't remember, but yeah, some
like Ron.
some of those are good.
Okay,
so that was fun.
Okay, you had said a note too about, so you're working in this WeWork, looking at all these dick drawings.
For sure, right. And I had one of those like kind of older like Big Mac desktop things, and my back was to the door of the window, and I'm like looking at these huge, like really high res image files of like these drawings. And it wasn't until like a couple days in I realized like my back was to the door and there's just like a huge window behind me, like leading into the hallway. And I'm just like, man, this is
everybody walking by being like, what is this man's job?
I'm like, I need to
what is he working on?
I need to like move my desk somewhere else or like stop looking at these. So so then I
that's so funny.
I had to move my desk.
That's so funny.
So my back wasn't to the door.
Okay, without giving too much away, what are you working on now that you're like most excited about? Or like, are there things coming down the pipeline that you're like stoked on? Like, how are you feeling about all of the new things that'll be coming up?
I mean, we have, I'm trying to think. We have a lot of new stuff coming out. I mean, one of our biggest, we have 2 launches at the end of this year. One has been probably the most work we've ever put into a project ever, which I'm sure everyone here like knows what I'm talking about.
I'm a little nervous because I'm like, oh, there's a lot behind this one.
Put a lot into it. I think it's really, really funny. I mean, if talking about like a project that I'm most proud of, I would say once we're done with this one, that'll probably be it. Just because it's like a big step for us as a company. And then another project is like kind of a smaller thing, but it's kind of like a personal passion project of like mine. That's like around actually one of my specific like interests, but I also just think is like really awesome and also kind of like a different category for us. So those
branching out,
2 new things.
Growing. So for our most recent launch, DUEL, we've been playing in the office. It's hilarious. How did this game like come about? Like, what was kind of the process behind that, and like what are some of your favorite content if you remember?
Totally. So I actually really remember it's weird how ideas work. Like the way ideas come about, it's almost never like a straight line. Where it's like I had this idea for like the couples game that's actually fun and it's gonna play exactly like this and this and this. So for DUEL, I actually had a title first. The title was called Drink This Game. That was like the title for the game. I was like, okay, it'll be a drinking game and I'll have these different like categories to it and something. And like, I don't know, I had like 4 different like mini games within like this larger game. And I was talking to our editorial director, Jess, and we were like brainstorming. And one of the 4 or 5 like subcategories was DUEL. And like DUEL was like a subcategory within this larger idea. And I was talking to like Trevor about it and stuff. And we were like, or Trevor and Andy, and they were basically like, this DUEL thing is really cool. All the other categories are like kind of suck. And I was like, oh man, really? I'm like, that's too bad. They're like, no, but DUEL is like really funny. Like that's really good. And we're like, okay. And they're basically like, okay, let's make this an entire game. And then we took DUEL and now it's a whole game. And I don't remember like any super specific content. I guess one of the funnier ones is like I do love the quick draws. Are great with the back-to-back 3 steps. I mean, the Name a Woman, that's a great one. You can't go wrong with that. That's great.
I've had that when we've been playing at Toy Fair and then the office. I've been in the quick draw when that happens twice, and both times I just say me.
I would love to be in the room with some guy playing that with his girlfriend, and he says like Sydney Sweeney instead of his girlfriend or instead of his mom. Sorry, guys. Say your mom.
No, that one's pretty funny, and I think depending on like the group that you're with and all of that, like how far you take like some of the content, like I think in the office we're all pretty close and pretty comfortable, and so like you
guys are really. I came next door and I was like scared for my life. It was like you like stand in a corner to avoid the action to you.
But the quick draws are so fun, but they're also so stressful. Like I think it's like when I'm put on the spot, my mind is just gonna go blank, but then I'm like, but I have to win. And so I'm just like, I'm like sitting there and it's like the person's gonna pick who they're gonna duel, and I'm like, don't pick me, but I'm also like, pick me.
Yeah, that's the best part. I know. I like you get to pick the person you're dueling. It's kind of like Game of Thrones and like, you know, medieval, where you're like, you can pick like your champion and like who you're gonna like take down and stuff. Like depending on the card, it's like that strategy is fun.
Yeah, I feel like I'll be like going and like my heart will be racing, and then like I'm not it for a few rounds and I'm like starting to like settle. Yeah, and then I like get picked and I'm like anxious again. I'm like, my therapist is gonna hate this. The cortisol's spiking, but so is the serotonin from all the fun. So I think it evens out. All right, that's good. I think it evens out.
That's good. That's good. That's a good review. I'll take that. Yeah.
Cool.
Do I get to ask you some questions now?
I guess so. Yeah. You want to ask me questions?
Okay. Let's see.
You're like, I'm turning this interview around. I said hot seat for you.
It's funny. I don't have any questions off the top of my head. Let's see. Why am I a great boss now? The video?
Yeah, improv. Yeah. Well, yeah.
This is the end of the video. Go back to work. Right.
Okay. Get off LinkedIn. Touch grass.
Get off LinkedIn or whatever social platform you're on and go get back to work. Your company needs you.